Welcome to the deep dive. We sift through the noise, get you the key info from loads of sources, and get you informed fast. Today we're doing something a bit special. We're embarking on quite a journey into the very first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, an incredibly profound text. We're focusing specifically on Arjuna's anguish, Arjuna Vishada Yoga in Sanskrit. And we're pulling our insights today from a really detailed book review of a Hindi translation and commentary. So our mission really for this deep dive is to pull out that timeless wisdom. What does this ancient scripture written by Vedavyasa really tell us about, well, human nature? About the dilemmas we all face.
Yeah, dilemmas that feel surprisingly modern sometimes, even though the text is ancient.
Exactly. And the opening scene, it's incredibly dramatic. You've got these two huge armies, the Pandavas and the Kauravas. They're all set for this massive battle on the field of Kurukshetra. The tension's palpable, right? War is about to break out. But then, just as things are about to kick off, something totally unexpected happens. And that unexpected moment, this deep internal crisis, that's the whole core of this first chapter, all 47 verses. Okay, let's unpack this. So, right at the start, the very first shloka, the first verse, it kicks things off immediately.
Right.
Blind King Dhritarashtra, he asks his charioteer Sanjaya, basically, what are my guys and the Pandava guys doing, gathered on this field? It seems simple, but
it opens everything up. And Sanjaya's role here is fascinating. He's got this divine sight, so he's relaying the whole scene back to the king. He describes the armies, the formations, points out the big-name warriors on both sides. He paints this vivid picture of, imminent war.
Sets the physical scene perfectly.
Exactly. But like you said, the real action, the real drama, it shifts pretty quickly. It becomes internal. Inside one specific warrior.
Right. Arjuna, he's there in his chariot right between the two armies because he asked Krishna, his charioteer, to take him there. He wants a good look.
Wants to see who he's up against.
Yeah. And he looks out and he sees his own people. Relatives, grandfathers, teachers, uncles, brothers, friends.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And that's where it gets really interesting. That's the pivot. Because in that instant, he's just overcome. The source talks about karuna, this intense compassion, and moha, which is deep attachment.
Attachment to his people.
Exactly. And what does he do? He literally drops his bow. The Gandiva bow, his famous, powerful weapon.
That's huge. That's like a soldier dropping their rifle right before a charge.
Precisely. He just puts it down and says, I can't fight. This moment, this is his Vishad, his profound sorrow, his dilemma. That's why the chapter's named after it.
And it's so powerful because Arjuna is, he's the great warrior. Brave, skilled, renowned. He's not depicted as cowardly.
Not at all.
But he falters here, faced with this fundamental truth about fighting his own kin. It shows that even the smartest, strongest people can just freeze up, get completely confused when a decision hits that close to home.
Yeah, that internal conflict can be paralyzing.
Absolutely. It highlights how our inner world, our attachments and values, can completely override our external roles or capabilities.
And the questions he asks then, they're the heart of it, aren't they? He basically says, how can any good come from killing my own people? Is winning like this even possible? Is this dharma?
That dharma question is key.
So what's the weight of that question? Is he just worried about the ethics of war, or is it deeper? Or does it still hit home for us?
Oh, it's much deeper than just battlefield ethics. He's questioning the very foundation of right action. What is dharma when your prescribed duty fighting for your kingdom's claim means destroying the very people and relationships that define your life?
Right, the conflict between duty and love, essentially.
Exactly, and that's universal, isn't it? Think about modern life. We face choices all the time where our professional duties might clash with family responsibilities or where societal expectations conflict with our personal conscience.
Yeah, like choosing between a high-paying job you hate and following a passion that feels right but is risky.
Precisely. That's your own Kurukshetra, in a way. You're caught. Arjuna's struggle resonates because we all face situations where the right path feels incredibly unclear, where duties collide. What's fascinating here is how this chapter frames the problem and saying, look, external strength, being a great warrior, that's not enough. You need something more.
Like a spiritual perspective.
Yeah, spiritual perspective. A real understanding of what dharma truly means for you in that specific, messy context. It's about navigating life's impossible choices with a deeper wisdom.
So boiling it down, what does this first chapter really give us? Why is it so important on its own?
Well, it's like you said earlier, it's a mirror.
A mirror of self-reflection.
Exactly. Self-reflection and mental conflict. It's showing us the human condition laid bare. The confusion, the attachment, the questioning of duty. It's not just backstory for the Gita's teachings. It is the teaching in itself about the starting point for seeking truth.
And maybe especially relevant now. In our age of information overload, endless choices, sometimes it feels like we're all facing our own kind of decision paralysis.
I think so. Seeing Arjuna, this great hero, grapple so intensely reminds us that confronting our inner conflicts, our attachments, our moha, is often the necessary first step towards clarity. So yeah, this chapter is absolutely crucial. It's the setup. It poses the profound existential questions that the rest of the Gita, starting right in chapter 2 with Krishna's guidance, sets out to answer.
It perfectly tees up the wisdom that's coming.
Perfectly. It shows us why the wisdom is needed.
Okay. So as we wrap up this deep dive, it's clear Arjuna's anguish there on the battlefield. It isn't just an ancient story point. It's this timeless picture of human internal conflict. That moment of crisis speaks to our own struggles, right? Juggling duty, relationships, the hard choices we all inevitably face.
Absolutely. It's incredibly relatable, even thousands of years later. So maybe something for you, the listener, to think about. Reflect on a time in your own life, a time when you felt really tested internally, when you questioned what the right path was, maybe despite what everyone else thought you should do. How might understanding Arjuna's struggle here, his search for his real dharma amid all that conflict, how might that help you look at your own decision-making moments? How do you find your right action when things get tough?